community programming.
We will. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Soul Work. I'm your host, Jeni Cousins, and of course, this is my co-host, Miss Lovely Kim Buckler. And what cookies did you bring in on tonight's show, Kim?
The shortbread.
She brought in shortbread. Every week she bakes cakes or cookies, of course, for everybody.
And Jeni does all the work by booking in the guests.
Absolutely.
Good balance.
We have to have that balance. And just before we get things going, we wanted to welcome back Kirk, Two Dogs, to the show tonight to help us out. We really appreciate all of your love and support for being a part of the show tonight. We need you around a lot more, Kirk, and you know it. So before I forgot to mention that. So we are going to be taking calls tonight also, Calgary, after our short commercial break. And I did not book a guest on tonight's show because this is the month, of course, of December being Christmas. So we're going to be taking calls, of course, and answering like we normally do any and all of your questions and concerns. And what is that number, Kim?
It is 403-539-6710.
So we're going to chat just for a couple of minutes, and then after we take our commercial break, of course, then we'll be taking calls again. And Kim and I were actually just talking over a few things, especially, of course, you know, we had the full moon energy in on Saturday and such like that. And every full moon energy, of course, you know, it's a time to really reflect back and clear things.
It is,
right? Yeah. And take advantage of the energy with it. I mean, normally on the full moon, I sleep maybe 2 or 3 hours a night per night, and that's it. Right, but then during the day I have a lot of energy, and and it's like great, right?
Okay, yeah.
But I get a lot of clarity. Like even yesterday, as I was even talking to Kim about, yesterday was like a very trying day for me. It started off, like on a harder note, of course, and then it got really, really clear. And there is, like people, of course, that were always, resolving things with and such like that. And for me, I took that day as a real blessing, really, because it really gave me, that peace to really clear out someone in my life who I know that that was it. That was the final draw, and it's time to take that stand, right? So we know that we've really cleared something out, and we're truly done with, the energy, as I call it, with the person or situation, when everything is calm.
Yeah.
There is no anger, there is no, like sadness with it, there is no emotion with it. It just completely faded.
Yeah.
Right?
And I did that on Friday because I was getting a lot of, so the day before the full moon, I was getting a lot of what I call negative chitter chatter, and usually I can control it, and I got zinged really bad, so I was in the healing room and doing a lot of smudging, and then finally I said, that's enough. So I just had a little pep talk with myself and made some shifts and said, you know what, I just want to nurture the light within. Yeah. That's all I want to nurture. Yeah. And then the day went way better, and I noticed by this morning when I wake up in the morning, you can get these thoughts about different situations. It was like, it was all neutral.
Yeah.
And I thought, finally,
yes,
because it felt way better. So I can think about different people, different situations with no emotion attached to it, and saying, okay, we're done.
Absolutely.
The work is done.
And that's the key. Because there's certain situations, that people, they're like, you know what, I'm just going to numb myself to it and ignore the situation and walk away from it. But you can't do that, because then it lingers on and it continues, right? So then when we do that, eternal work, really, we have to do that in order to resolve issues. You know what I mean?
So yeah, because you can cut you can say, well, I'm going to close the door on this person, but really, what, you can do it and you can minimize what's happening, but it's also looking, what did I contribute to this? What have I done? What could I learn from this? Can I let this person go with blessings?
Yes, and exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the key. That's the key there, right? You know, it's like what I do is, let's say if something goes wrong or whatever it is, I always look at myself first.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, how did I create this situation? Is the first thing I do.
And why does it keep on bothering
absolutely.
you?
It's like even the person who I let go yesterday completely out of my life. I know it's done, right? And it's like, and then I was asking myself, you know, why is this continued? And then it's like, you know what? I allowed this person to still connect with me every now and then, and I'm like, for what reason? So the longer you keep in contact and you connect with that person, it's not going to clear itself until you make that decision to finally come to terms with things and say, you know what? It's cleared. I'm done with it. I feel at peace. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if that person's meant to be in your life at a later date, then they'll have done their work.
Absolutely.
They'll look back and they'll say, okay, maybe they'll say, I'm sorry, or apologize, or whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And made shifts in their lives too.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, as long as you yourself have cleared that energy, right? And you feel more at peace with it, knowing regardless that I've cleared my karma with that person, who that person responds to after that point in time, has nothing to do with me, because it's their karma. It's not my karma anymore.
And I just hope that whoever is involved, I always hope for the best for them.
Absolutely.
That things turn out right for them, that things start working.
Yeah.
And that's my way of, letting go.
Yes.
And we can never wish any harm on anybody.
Yes.
I always hope for the best, and that they figure it out really, sooner than later.
And you have to be truly ready to do that. I mean, even like, for the past, especially the past week or so, I've had, like clients and such where, they're, resolving things themselves too and such like that. And they're like, you know what, I'm going to close my heart. I can't deal with the pain anymore. And I'm like, you cannot do that. No. You cannot do that. So it's like, get yourself some rose quartz, right? Keep your heart open, because when you let somebody go, for instance, it doesn't matter if it's a family member, if it's a friend, relationship, coworker, anybody, right? You have to keep your heart open to really let that person go.
We're all on this journey together, and we got to remember too. I've not always been on. I've had a lot of rough roads, and I've had people there to help me out, and I'll be there for that person as long as I'm treated with respect.
Absolutely, and that is the key.
Yeah, we need to treat each other with respect.
Yeah,
and that's a big thing. Yeah,
absolutely, because it's like if that person, whoever it is, family, friend, co-worker, anybody, if they're not treating you with dignity and respect, you got to really look at that, and then you got to ask yourself, why am I, allowing that? Why am I allowing to still have this person in my life who is not supporting me positively, who is not there for me? You know what I mean? Who is taking advantage of whatever the situation is. So that's when you got to really do that soul searching and ask yourself, why? Why am I continuing this?
And we can apply this to other things in our lives too, whether it's our thinking patterns, the way we look after our bodies. I like the herbs, the vitamins and minerals and stuff like that. The things that we keep on getting caught up in. So this is all part of that sort of same journey. It doesn't matter whether it's a relationship, relationship, or habits, or thinking habits. Saying, "Well, we can't do this." Well, yes, you can do it.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think this is really neat, because with the show, it's shown so many people that are here to help us out.
Yes.
And we're all working together as a team to make that difference, and to say, yes, there is a better way of living. And
and I always tell people, don't be so hard on yourself, right? Because even like yesterday, of all of that, I ended up having an amazing evening. I as I mentioned to Kim, I had someone who was sending me this extraordinary gift that, and even he was telling me, Jeni, you deserve so much, and you have no idea how much I appreciate you coming into my life.
That's a blessing, eh?
And you have such a big heart and helping others and all of this stuff. And I'm like, wow, so that, really ended my day. you know, and he's like, you're such a blessing. And I'm like, oh, wow, you're going to, you know, like get me all teary-eyed here. I can't talk now, right?
Yeah.
So it was, you know, it really ended nice. And then I ended it like doing a meditation. And then the vision I saw in that meditation, it was just like...
Yeah, you're telling me about that. That was amazing.
That was amazing experience from the Holy Spirit. Yeah. So that, it yesterday was, it started off uneasy, and it ended up to be a real blessing.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for how the day went and how I cleared this person completely and utterly out of my life very peacefully.
Yeah.
The time was up, you know, for that friendship.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It was a real blessing.
Yeah. Oh, that's neat. That's neat. And that's what I found with after Friday, and I noticed finally today I realized that it's made a big difference.
Absolutely.
You know, whatever work I did on Friday, it made a huge difference.
Absolutely.
So thank goodness for that full moon.
Yes, you have to take advantage of it, Calgary. And we are going to take a quick commercial break because we already have callers on hold. And we're going to take your calls. And what's that number, Kim?
It is 403-539-6710.
We'll be right back after these short messages. Calgary, hang in.
Fruits and veggies. They come in all shapes and sizes and add color and goodness to every meal and snack. So whenever you eat, include fruits and veggies and mix it up. For information and recipe ideas, visit fruitsandveggies.ca.
Welcome back, Calgary. And for those of you who are just tuning in, this is Soul Work, and I'm your host, Jeni Cousins. And I was just speaking to my co-host, Kimberly, about, you know, the full moon's energy and such, and how we can totally take advantage of clearing things out on a positive level, on a healing level. You know, there's a lot more involved to it, of course, right? And we have to make sure we're on our own comfort zone and completely ready to let certain issues or situations or people go out of our life.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah.
And we've got a caller already.
Okay.
Janine?
Janine.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi. My name's Janine.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask if I'm going to be able to go to Guernsey in the British Isles. It looks like it might fall through for me. And I was also wondering, I'm living in a complex and I'm having a lot of problems with the people who live here, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
This year for you is, of course, almost at its end, right? So in next year, you do have a lot of changes coming to you. You will definitely make a move. Definitely be making a move, right?
Oh.
Yeah, and this is the time when, you know, we really need to reflect back upon, you know, the past year really of, you know, are we in a situation that we're happy? If we're not in a situation, it doesn't matter what's going on, we really have to take a look at it and, you know, start making some changes. But I'm feeling a move for you. I'm not.
I didn't want to move.
That's not today, mind you, but I am feeling a move definitely coming with you within next year, right? So, because it's like you're a very, very old soul, so you've got a lot of different energies to clear out anyways, right? So it's how you go about them, right? It's taking those steps each and every day to, you know, make certain changes about what we want to make changed next year, right? Even if we're not 100% certain of what we want to do, you know, even write down certain things. I'm not happy with this, I'm not happy with that, right? But I do see a change definitely coming your way. And I do feel that, you will very well go away, but I'm not feeling it anytime immediately. It might take about a year or so.
August,
yeah, because I think it's been delayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because you got to remember that, delays are for a reason.
Yeah. In August, September for that move or that change. But keep in mind with the complex that you're in, and just see what the setting is and what's going on around you, and see if that's really a good place for you to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep trying to volunteer for things, and I end up getting into trouble.
Yeah. So you got to take a look at that and review that situation, especially when we're doing something. It doesn't matter what it is we're doing, right? Because, Spirit always gives us signs. So if what you're doing something, whatever it is, and if things aren't working out consistently with a certain situation, then you got to ask, am I at the right volunteering place?
Yeah.
Am I in the right relationship? Am I in the right complex? You know what I mean? And it's about paying attention to signs. Spirit will always give us the signs if we're ready to hear them, if we're ready to see them. And you don't have to be psychic to see those signs, right? Yeah. Yeah, so just kind of hang in there. But yeah, I am feeling a move with you, definitely. And it's going to be for the better, and you're going to be a lot more happier, right? But your vacation is going to be put on hold for a while. It's going to be put on. That's going to be put on hold for a while, because it's almost like you can't run there to, resolve issues and such like that, right? We should clear certain things before we want to go on vacation, so that way we can actually enjoy our vacation.
Yeah.
Because then you're carrying that baggage with you.
Am I doing something to cause the problems at my complex?
At your complex, no. No. I mean, the city here has really changed, of course. So there's going to be a lot more changes coming, to Alberta and especially Calgary here next year, right? So things are really going to start shifting with certain things. So your complex situation, no, that's not you.
Oh, okay, because I've been trying really hard to get along with people, and
yeah. But don't give yourself. Don't keep on giving yourself and giving and giving and giving, right? So it's just be yourself, but you gotta watch giving too much, because when you keep giving too much, then people are going to take advantage of you.
Yeah, or they'll also back away and wondering why you're doing
Yeah.
When I move, am I moving alone? Like, I'm a widow.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get married.
No, I'm not feeling a marriage.
But
no.
Oh, okay.
I'm not.
almost
I'm not
like
feeling
a
a marriage.
smaller unit. Almost like a smaller place than what you're in already.
Ooh, I'm in a small place now.
Yeah.
But it could be like a little smaller, but it might seem even, let's say if the bathroom is really tiny, let's say in your next place, your bathroom might be a little bigger, but then your like living room could be a little smaller.
The complex itself could be smaller. So thank you so much for calling in.
Yes, it was wonderful. Yes. So hang in there, one day at a time.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank
You're welcome.
Okay. And our next caller is Linda.
Thank you.
Hi, Linda. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good.
Really
and
good.
your question for us tonight?
I have a younger sister who's been diagnosed with cancer, and I want to know if there's anything that I can do to help her get through it.
What's her first name?
Barbara.
Okay. Before you even said her name, I kept on hearing the name Suzanne come in. I don't know if that has anything to do with you.
No.
Okay, it very well might. Okay, because when I hear a name coming in very strongly, there's more of a reason to it, right? Okay, so your sister's name is Barb?
Yes.
Right? The only thing that you can do realistically is, just to give her some comfort, right? And, just to be there for her.
Fair enough. How about nutrition-wise?
There's a lot of really good foods out there that are really good antioxidants, so look into your berries.
I have a whole regime of health and nutrition and DCA and all kinds of things I'm giving her, but...
Okay, why am I feeling... so just kind of really test that, because it's almost like I'm kind of feeling that when you're giving her certain things, just really pay attention to whenever she's eating, okay? Because it's almost like I'm feeling kind of a little block down here in her throat.
Yeah,
okay?
she has lung cancer.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. So just, even monitor, so let's say if you gave her like strawberries, for instance, like that, just see how she likes it and see if she can easily swallow it and digest it properly, because you're going to find that things are going to start to shift within the next 3 months here. So for instance, strawberries, with her today, let's say if they're okay, they might not be in 3 months. Right? Where, blueberries might not be okay for her today, but they might be a little better for her in 3 months. So just really kind of monitor things.
What about wheatgrass?
Yeah, wheatgrass is okay, I'm feeling with her. I'm not feeling a really big issue with that. What about you, Kim?
Yeah, you just have to see how her body reacts to it. It's probably be okay.
Yeah.
Try not to worry too much and just, you guys keep each other's spirits up, and I think that's the biggest thing.
Do you think she'll make it through Christmas?
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Yeah, I do. Right? So just, one day at a time. And what I do is, like I've lost 8 people this year so far, right? So what I do is I leave things up to spirit, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when it comes to somebody passing away, especially, when we know that their time is soon coming, right? We have to say, you know what, I'm leaving this up to spirit, of course, to make all the decisions, because it's up to that person, it's up to that person's soul group, and of course to God to make that decision, right? So, and I feel like she's a really, she's like a tough cookie in a way, really.
She is tough, really tough. But they'd given her a death sentence at the doctor, and so she gave up right away. And then when I talked to her, I changed her spirit and said, well, I didn't change her spirit, but I changed her attitude.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Because of course the doctor's going to say, give you some type of approximately.
Yeah, 3
right?
weeks.
Yeah, but I don't go on that.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's horrible.
Yeah, no, you've done really well. The good eating habits, the mindset, and something about
I got her on juicing, and
and something about anger. If she can help release that anger, I think she'll do. It'll go much easier for her.
She has a lot of anger, I think.
Yeah, so that would be a big part of her. There's the forgiveness in that, and she'll see a huge shift in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we should work on that.
So just one day at a time, of course. And just keep her spirits up. Just really keep her spirits up and going, because that happens. Of course, you've got this time, so it stays in somebody's head. So then we attach to that situation. I've seen people where they've said, you've got 3 weeks. They're here another year.
That's what I'm hoping, because she's got grandchildren she wants to see grow up.
Yeah. So just, you know what I mean? Surrender it to spirit, okay? And just one day at a time. And just really, be there for her, positively, you know what I mean? And that really does make a difference. I worked in a hospice for a year. So, it's the same thing. You've got maybe 2 days, a week, a month type thing, and I've seen miracles. I've really, I've seen things shift where, things have shifted where, maybe a week and they've lasted 3 months, let's say, right?
That's
So,
fantastic.
Okay, and then the Suzanne person.
I'm still hearing that.
I got a funny feeling. I could be off my rocker, but I got a funny feeling this person may somehow be associated with your sister, and the feeling behind this person's not good. So just make sure whoever this is that they keep a distance from her. That's just
How about
a thought.
Marilyn instead of a Suzanne?
No, Marilyn, you already know about. That's a whole different.
Not good for her.
That's a whole different situation altogether.
So just whoever this is, just monitor, see what this person's like, and before.
I'll ask her if she knows of Suzanne.
Yeah. So just
Okay.
really, just go with the flow and be there for her.
Yeah.
Okay,
Great. You're
Okay.
welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
God bless you.
You too. You too.
That would be tough. Yeah.
It is actually. Even when I worked at the hospice, I worked Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I remember that, and we lost 7 people overnight. Right. So Christmas time is a big month actually for people passing. Right. Regardless of what, and all you can do really, of course, is take things one day at a time, because we truly don't know.
Yeah,
when our time is up.
Yeah, and
right?
if we're willing to make a shift too, and we're willing to change our lifestyle, we can do a lot better. And we're given a lot more time. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
And I even do that with certain things like that. And Christmas time is a harder month, of course.
It is.
Because even if somebody passed on a few years ago, let's say, for instance, December can be a harder month too, of course, because then the memories go back, to that time, and even currently too.
Okay. We do have another caller, Margaret.
Margaret.
Hello.
There's an old soul for you.
Hi. How are you?
Hi.
Hi.
And your question for us?
Hello.
Hello. Your question for us tonight, Margaret.
I've just recently separated, and I was just wondering if you see any outcome in my life.
Your separation. I honestly, I don't feel that it's 100% over.
Really?
Yeah, it's almost like the separation is the separation, but it's almost like the both of you very well could come back together to resolve issues, right?
Oh.
Meaning give you more of a peace of mind, meaning you guys are going to sit down and work something out, more of a peace of mind, and then you can make a decision. Because sometimes really, you know what I mean, it's best to part as friends and be on good terms with that person than to try to hang on and hang on and hang on where the relationship completely, disintegrates. But it's almost like the relationship, I'm still feeling the warmth on both ends, really.
Oh, so you don't see anybody else into my life?
I do. I do see someone else, yes.
But it is good to take that time and to resolve what you've gone through already.
Yes.
And to look after that first,
Yeah.
because you're going to repeat the same thing going on.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm feeling somebody sworn around you right now. The energy, the energy is very much around you right now. So, but it's almost like the worst thing people do is they rush into one relationship to the next, because they don't come to terms with what happened in their last relationship, and they haven't had that time to properly heal from it, right? So then relationship, and then going on to the next one, you're carrying your baggage, as I call it, right, that you haven't healed from and you haven't worked through yet to your next relationship. So everybody needs that space and that time to heal from their last relationship, regardless if it's marriage or partnership or whatever it is. But I'm feeling...
It wouldn't be wise for me to carry on with somebody else?
Yeah, because if, it's up to you, of course, right? But then the energy is going to be heavy and things aren't going to officially really work because it's getting carried over. But unfortunately, I am getting the wrap-up sign here that the show has come to an end, or else I would talk and talk, as you know, right? And I really appreciate you calling in and just
give yourself some time.
You need this time and the space, because if you don't,
thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, I wanted to thank Kim
and you and Shaw
and Shaw, of course. For continuing, the show on, because we appreciate each and every one of you out there who supports us positively on a positive level. We do our best to help as many as we can, in the short time frame. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight's show. We are on live next Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. I'm your host, Jeni Cousins. Good night, everyone. Take care. See you next Wednesday night, Shaw TV.